Hello and welcome to. We are on episode 9 right now of the Bunker to Bunker podcast. My sleep schedule is very messed up and I am extremely tired right now because I think that I have to wake up at like 6 in the morning to watch more golf. So, great idea to record Sunday night at 9 p.m., but we are here to chat about what just happened earlier today. Um, we're coming off of Brian Harman's win at Royal Liverpool, kind of like Tiger's win in the past edition before Rory, where Tiger kind of took apart the course and kind of left the field behind, and that is what Brian Harman, out of all people, did. Josh, what do you have to say about it all?
I gotta fix my hat first of all. Alright, that's good.
Good man.
Yeah, it's backward hat season, I guess. Um, yeah, it was. You know, I had a lot of friends who are casual golf fans who thought this sucked for multiple reasons. Because Harmon was just the last two rounds just didn't really make mistakes. No one really wanted to kind of challenge him, and it wasn't I guess a fulfilling victory or finish as we have been, I guess, maybe over the couple of majors last couple of years, kind of spoiled with. So,
Hmm.
uh, I thought I really enjoyed the course. I thought, we could have maybe more theatrics with the 17th hole and like the 18th hole. We had some on like
Hmm.
the first day with Rory and Rahm in that bunker on 18, but we can get to that. But I mean, obviously, let's start with kind of a round of applause for Brian Harman. He's 36. He's a John Deere Classic winner a while ago. He was a good collegiate golfer. He made
Uh-huh.
Ricky Fowler cry in college at some tournament, amateur tournament or something. But, he goes out and shoots 67, 65, 69, 70. So, he stayed
Hmm.
cool under pressure. Not the longest, very accurate. He barely hit in any pop bunkers, which, I love pop bunkers. And, that really seemed like just playing it safe constantly, getting up and down and making those putts made him win. So, a few stats on Brian Harman that I thought were interesting, and that's why he won.
Yeah.
Number one, he was 59 out of 60 putts inside of 10 feet. So he missed
Hmm.
one putt inside of 10 feet. And he gained 11.3 strokes putting. And that was, the second best was Tom Kim at 7.5-ish. So he went
Hmm.
on putting. Off the tee, he was okay. 3 strokes off the tee, 3 strokes approach, and then 2 around the green. So, he played safe, made the putts he could. And yeah, and I loved his composure throughout the whole thing. He just didn't,
Yeah.
he kept that same composure, that I enjoyed. So, it was very impressive. I went through his putting. Was there anything else that you were impressed with, Brian Harmon's game?
I mean, obviously, I have to talk about the waggle because now this is, I mean, it's been a thing of his. If you are a intense golf fan or a golf sicko like you and I are, and a good portion of the fan base, you know that he has this very nervous waggle where he'll do it, 10, 15 times before he hits the ball, and it makes no sense. But now more and more people know about it, and it's just so interesting how someone can remain so composed with so much movement going on. I mean, you look at like Scheffler with his lower body and that movement, that's just wild. But this is just, I know it's pre-swing, it's just so interesting. But yeah, I mean, he was, as I said, he was just like a surgeon. Like he was just tactical every hole. I mean, I thought when he hit it into the gorse butch on the fifth hole, I believe, I thought that was okay. Like here we go. He's going to make a double, a triple. We're going to back up, and he misses a short one for bogey. So great performance by him. Yeah, outside of that, it was just flawless. It really was flawless.
Yeah, I mean, he fended off Rahm, Rory, Hovland, Fleetwood, Jason Day, former number one player, major champion, Tom Kim, Alex Fitzpatrick,
Hmm.
so he fended off some big names. I mean, we'll get into what his future holds in the coming weeks with like the Ryder Cup. We'll get to later, but yeah, I think we really covered the Brian Harman story. I know that in his interview he mentioned something that like a fan or someone kind of like said that he didn't have it in him to do it. and he kind of took that as like a motivation. So it's cool. I mean, we'd be lying right now if we didn't say that we were cheering against Brian Harman. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't mind him winning. It's just that he won by like 5 strokes, and it wasn't really a
Yeah,
tournament, which kind of leads me into Tommy Fleetwood, and I think he ruined the tournament. Not ruined it, but
interesting.
after round two, he was the only one that was like in it to make some putts and kind of force Harmon's hand, put some pressure on him. He didn't do it. He didn't make a single putt. He shot even on round three. So, I saw his composure and his face. He just looked so emotionally drained, and I think he knew that
Mhm.
this was probably his best shot to win a major. And
Yeah,
and even round three and round four, he just couldn't get it done.
yeah. He coming off of that great fourth round Los Angeles Country Club at the U.S. Open, I thought he would definitely be able to continue that great form. When I woke up on Thursday and saw his name trending in the leaderboard, I thought this makes a lot of sense. And the guy couldn't make a putt to save his life after the first round. It was just he was just like stuck in neutral. So yeah, I don't know if I'd say he choked necessarily because like he gave away leads, but out of everyone in the field who could have won this week, he was probably outside of Harmon. He was probably the number one person. Like he had every single opportunity possible. So yeah,
I
I
think he,
mean,
he choked to put himself in contention because if you think
yeah,
about it,
yeah,
Rom was, your boy Rom finishes minus six,
uh,
63, and they tee off and they see him there. So I don't
mhm,
know. He just couldn't make. I mean, he couldn't make a putt. I say he choked because it's his tournament. Everyone's talking about him and Matthew Jordan. I think that's his name, right? Matthew Jordan.
yeah, yeah,
Who he's a member there. I think I'm harsher on him because I had him in my pool, and if he was still a second, I'm up probably 40, 50 spots, and now he gained me a couple places because he took a five or a six on the 17th hole,
uh,
which is just sad to say. But I mentioned Rom 63. I'm gonna hand this over to you because you had some money on Rom. Talk about that, 63 and his final day.
yeah. I mean, he was tied 89th going into the second round, which you're thinking like, okay, he just has to scramble to make the cut. Gets in the cut at a +2, barely makes it, and yeah, he just totally different player, but he just showed that form of earlier this year. And I don't want to say he necessarily played bad today, like the final round, but I forget what announcer said it, but players who shoot like a 63 usually back it up with an over par round the next round. That's so fascinating because that was so evident to Rom as well. Like he just was not, he could not make a putt to save his life, and he wasn't, he was giving himself the chance, just consistently hitting green. So the chances were there for him. Great week for him, in all honesty, given how he just wasn't like being talked about as much. I just another little interesting thing is like no one said a word about Scotty Scheffler. Really, I know we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but when we are comparing like Rom, Rory, and Scheffler, and who's the deserved favorite, like Scotty just he just like kind of fell off and wasn't getting covered at all. But yeah, overall, I think a very successful week for Rom. The annoying thing about betting is I think I had four players in the top five that I had outrights on, and not a single one hit, so I lost everything. But that's the name of the game. So yeah,
Who were the five? Who were the four? Besides Rom.
let me let me give you the exact. Let me just pull up the bet slip because I can give you the exact. So it was Tom Kim, Sepp Straka, John Rahm, Rory, and then if you go down a little bit more, it was Homa, Fleetwood, and Hovland, that group. So
Were they all like
I'll
pre-tournament?
say,
Like just were
yeah,
they
all
pre-tournament
pre-tournament.
bets or
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's funny
So
that you say
close,
Scheffler didn't
but
get any. It's funny you said Scheffler didn't get any coverage, but when he started his round three and four, they were like early morning, so we weren't even up.
that's fair. That's fair. But
The sickos
yeah,
out there, like more Twitter sickos like us, and
yeah,
that are like us, were up. But you know, Ron, he came, he bounced back. He's been struggling since. the Masters, he'll tell you firsthand that he is. So it's good to see him in that mix, and we have the FedEx playoff soon. So, which kind of brings me to Rory. I'm looking at the strokes gained. He was second in the field tee to green with 11 strokes tee to green. He gained .68 strokes putting, which
Hmm.
was the name of his game. He gained the most strokes off the tee. He put it. His irons were great, just couldn't make a putt. So, Kyle Porter on Twitter said, over the last 8 majors, exclude the 2023 Masters, which kind of
Hmm.
skews things. Rory has tied or beaten 97.4% of the players without winning. So
Yeah.
it's kind of mark that Scotty has had throughout the whole year, just being top
Hmm.
five. Uh,
Hmm.
and I would like to kind of say that I've kind of have had enough with Rory, not him personally. On the course or off the course, I love his swing. Obviously, generation. I mean, the guy just pounds the ball, but I just can't take golf Twitter anymore with Rory. So everyone just posts his booming drives out. He's out driving people 360, 380 on these holes, pointing to like 20 feet. Okay, yeah, but he
Hmm.
hasn't made a putt. He also hasn't won one of these, and these stats are being like he should be winning, but that just shows you how hard it is to win um, on tour. So I think the Rory hype, I think he deserves it, but it's just I have a little fatigue with it. But that's also probably because the Scottish Open he just won, and then he hit that nasty shot on 18, and then
Hmm.
he was the defending champion at the course, especially what happened last year. So I get it, but I think we have to pump the brakes on Rory. He will get it. He will get his major.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of time. But the fatigue, I'm kind of tired of it.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. It's kind of like everything is all about what Rory does. And this is at least my thing about golf is there's, 155 other players who are in that moment. I don't want to say equal or better, but their results are just as relevant as Rory's results in a given week. So I'm definitely on board with the golf media needs to kind of settle down with this whole uh, love over Rory. But yeah, I guess let's hop into another John Deere Classic winner, especially this year in Sepp Straka, who one solidified his Ryder Cup spot in my mind, uh, with Kevin Kisner's caddy Dewey, which is an awesome pairing because they're both just giant human beings. So it's really funny to see. But yeah, he made 21 birdies for the week, which was the most in the field, and he had a putt to be solo second. Obviously, didn't make that, but tied second. I think he was tied seventh or something earlier in the year in another major. But great week for him, great momentum, and I think if he just plays well, not necessarily a second, but a top 10, a top 20 here and there, I think he's a lock for the Ryder Cup now.
Um, Justin, my brother, if you're listening, sorry to expose you, but my brother bet Straka to miss the cut, and he finished
Oh,
second. So
yeah.
Justin,
So
shout out there.
don't trust your brother.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna give him the whole spotlight, but yeah, I was in, Cam Young, I guess, coming off a strong John Deere, apparently I heard that he switched his ball. Last year he had he had a ball last year that he played pretty well with, right? This year he changed it, and now he's back to his original ball he played last year, and
Hmm.
he brought it back at the John Deere, and he was like top 10 there, and now he's top 10. I had him top 10, and he made birdie on 18 too
Hmm.
cash that in. So that was hype. But yeah, no, Cam Young, he led the field in tee to green. He's had good open history. He was second last year with that eagle on 18 at St. Andrews. He was in the final group with Brian Harman. He just pounds the ball, with his driver irons. His putter, he lost strokes putting, so you saw that he was kind of frustrated with his putter,
Hmm. Yeah.
around his green play. Um, so it's good to kind of see him back because you just see how he's just so talented. So, I would like to see how he finishes the year in the FedEx, FedEx Cup playoffs, which would be
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, again, someone who prior to the John Deere, wasn't playing the best golf, and I guess that's the magic of the John Deere. It just turns you around. But we can keep it rolling. Go right to Tom Kim. So, as some of you may know, some of you may not know, he rolled his ankle on the back patio of his accommodations, hotel, whatever you want to call it, for the week. Kind of reminded me of like what Dustin Johnson did at the Masters, where he fell down the stairs supposedly and injured his back. But yeah, I wasn't sure if he's going to play or not, and goes out there and ties for second. And you kind of gotta realize he's 21 years old. I mean, he plays like a veteran. He finishes like a veteran. I mean, we're coming off of almost a year removed from his historic President's Cup uh, performance, I guess. Yeah, performance. So he is definitely golf's like very bright star. And again, he's 21 years old. So it's kind of crazy that someone is kind of like in his shoes right now, just kind of not dominating, but consistently on the leaderboards at all these tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I think about Tom Kim, he just always has a smile on his face,
Hmm.
out there grinding, and he's just a competitor. I think I was just kind of thinking about this right now. It's kind of a good life lesson. I think. Well, he's fortunate enough, but he's 21. Like, look who he like surrounds himself with. He has a caddy, Joe Scovern, who's Ricky Fowler's old caddy. He lives in Texas. He hangs out with like Spieth and Zalatoris and Scheffler. He's close with Justin Thomas and Homa. So, if you put yourself around with major champions, guys who like Homa, who have, been through it, the ups and downs of being on tour and stuff. So he doesn't act like a 21, year old, as you just said, which is crazy to think. But when you think back at what his kind of, who he has surrounded him, it's pretty cool to watch. But I'm gonna go through some just quick hitters of some profiles, and we'll
Yeah.
get into the course and then other species. But I'm gonna give a shout out to Max Homa, first top 10 in the major. Give a little
Yeah.
round of applause. So he now is like will be in the stats where like you need like a top 10 in a major to like win a major. Like the stats on Twitter. So
Hmm.
congrats to him. Congrats to Alex Fitzpatrick, who the younger brother of Matthew Fitzpatrick, and he was grinding out there. Like he was when he
Hmm.
missed a par putt or missed a birdie, or made a birdie putt. You saw his like emotion out there, which I thought was awesome. And it was
Oh
cool to
yeah.
see Matt Fitzpatrick in his interview after saying now he told his parents like don't watch me, like this
Uh-huh.
is his week, not my week. I played in like 9, 10 majors. He already has one. He won at Brookline, so it's cool to see Alex Fitzpatrick, and kind of see if he can kind of make it on tour and stuff. And
Hmm.
then I'm gonna butcher his name, but Christo. Do I want to? Do you know his actual
Good
name?
luck. No, good luck.
All right, so Christo, my guy from Georgia Tech, six
No,
seven, six
say
eight amateur.
say the last name. Say the last name. Try it.
Christo Lamperket.
I think it's Lampard. I feel like the
Chet.
CH is silent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a
All
Chet
right.
because it's
I'm gonna
spelled
go with
Lamp. I
All
don't
right.
know.
Well, for
We'll
the
just we'll just
short,
we'll just call him Matt Kuchar because the guy looks like Matt Kuchar. So Matt Kuchar.
tall Matt Kuchar, Christo, who's an amateur,
Huh.
6'7", 6'8", from Georgia Tech.
Uh-huh.
If you watch him drive, it's so weird because he's too tall, and the
Oh, it's
regulation
so
driver
weird.
is a certain length, so he's kind of like
Hmm.
hunched over, kind of hitting it, and he was the leader after round one. I faded him after round two in like a three ball because he was going to fall off. That's just how golf works. That's how not physics works, but that's how just the numbers
Sure.
work. So he shot 66, 66, 79, 76, 74. So, but
Hmm.
it was cool to have that story for a day until Brian Harman stole that show. So, but I want to transition quickly into did the course play as you expected it to play this week?
It did. I was actually one of the, I don't want to say one of the few, but when you think of like an open championship, you think of like low numbers, low numbers, low numbers. Take away Brian Harmon's 13 under, second place is 7 under, six shot, lead, whatever. I with all the the previews that we did, I actually thought it would be like a 7, 8, 9 under would win it, and the odds were oh, is there going to be someone to 17, 18 under, all this stuff. And you're like that's just not happening. I mean, there were ideal scoring conditions on Saturday, and players were still just only getting like 3, 4 under. So I think it was nice to see an Open that wasn't this absolute walk in the park where you can hit the ball 500 yards. So I think it did. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. The internal OB is just so weird. I
I
feel like
like it
it's
though. I
cool
like it.
for us to say, but when it happens to a guy that you like put you put some money on or you know actually out there, it's weird. I'm not a big fan of it when it's like around the green. I just think
Hmm.
that's just kind of weird. I feel like off the tee is probably better, but it's weird because when Rory and Rahm were in those bunkers on 18 and they couldn't really get out, or at least Rory got up and down for par, but the R&A like changed the way that they rake the bunkers. And what
Yeah.
other sport? I guess it's like a Kyle Porter or normal sport type thing. But like, what sport just like changes like how they do something like after a round or something? That's just like
Yeah.
changing like the like
Yeah.
hoop or something at a basketball game. So I thought that
Hmm.
was kind of
Yeah.
cool. And then I woke up on Saturday and it's Cam Smith's on the 13th par three hole, and there's a toad on the green, and it's a endangered
Hmm.
species, which I did a short on, I believe. But it was just like there's only one guy who's like trained enough to take the toad off the green, and it's a superintendent. So
Yeah.
they had to like stop play and safely get this endangered toad off the green.
Hmm.
So that's just as I said, what other sport has that? None.
You're right.
So
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
so anything else on the course itself, Royal Liverpool? It's weird because
No,
Harman's now,
I think
like Harman now is in discussion with Tiger and Rory for the rest of like his life because like we haven't really played here much. So I'm not sure when the course will be back in the RNA
uh-huh.
kind of um rotation. I haven't looked at it. I know like Troon's next year, which has a
Hmm.
lot of history, but it was definitely a fun course,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
it
Overall,
was.
I think it was very successful. Yeah.
So, quick question before we hop into the Ryder Cup. Do you like getting up? Do you like the British Open style where you have to get up early and watch golf ends at like 1, like 2 o'clock, or do you like prime time and like out in like LA when it's like for us East Coast people it's later?
That's a tough one because uh I'm gonna say I prefer prime time more than golf ending at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I feel like that might be an unpopular opinion, but at least for me, like when I saw, okay, the tea times are at like 9:05 or 9:15, wherever this morning, like, all right, I gotta get up at like 8 so I can watch some before or stuff like that. Then I'm just gotta sit here for the next 5.5 hours, and then you're tired. You don't want to do anything for the rest of the day. So I, I don't know. I prefer prime time. Yeah.
There's just something in getting up early when get up early, have a cup of coffee, watch the
Yeah.
British Open, hear that like Scotland music, England, that type of music, and just the
Hmm.
links off of everything. It's pouring rain. I don't know. There's just something to it. I think that I enjoy, but I enjoyed both. But if I had to pick one, I think it's early. It was kind of a little debate I
Hmm.
had with a friend today. So let's transition quickly towards the Ryder Cup. We're gonna go briefly over
Hmm.
this because I know I would want to do an episode for the Ryder Cup in the coming weeks. There's a lot of drama. Let's start with the Americans. The drama
Yeah.
right now is Justin Thomas. He looked broken after round one. Was almost in last place after round one, and he had a decent round after round two. You know, Zach Johnson at the end said, he's concerned about his friend. Not just player, but like a friend and buddy, and hopes he can come back and stuff. So if you were Zach Johnson right now, captain, is JT on your team?
No, I know the whole argument of him and Spieth are beatable, but he hasn't shown anything that even if Spieth and him are unbeatable, that would warrant like that. All of a sudden he plays with Spieth and this form's gonna be amazing. I think he really has to turn out like some really good finishes because there's too many players waiting behind him who should probably make the team. That's probably
Yeah,
the short answer.
I mean, I'm on record for saying that he's definitely going to make the team, and there's no doubt. But then he puts up these type of finishes where it's like, I can't, I don't think he should be on it. I think if he makes the FedEx playoffs, he will be. I think he's like an Ian Poulter type of guy where regardless of his form, he just brings that energy in the locker room. And I think at the end of the day, ZJ is going to think, you know, we haven't won on European soil in 30 plus years. And are you going to take a Sam Burns or a Cam Young who only has President's Cup experience? Or are you going to go with JT and go down on that road? So definitely interesting. He's playing this week at 3M. He's going to have to play the Wyndham to get in the top 70, I think, or 75.
Yeah.
But, it would suck if we don't see that JT because, we saw him firsthand just, getting like the crowd up, doing his little ear thing
Yep.
To the crowd. So, but, it sucks because Brian Harman, now he's an automatic qualifier. I think he's third right now. And, I think his game fits well at the course. The Europeans love to have, short courses, not a bomber's place, hit it straight, hit it accurate, and, like, make putts. So, overall, I think Harmon's game with his driving off the tee, hitting it straight, doesn't fit. He doesn't put it in trouble, and he makes putts. He's also 36, so, he's kind of seen it all besides this, so I think he can do it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I guess you kind of touched on, like, the Europeans with Straka. I think he's definitely a lock. I don't think there's really much else to talk about them. But, to kind of conclude things, do you want to start with the Fairway Finder recap, or should I?
I will because you're 0 for 3 and your 3 losses haven't even been close. You had DJ top 30 this week, and I think he finished 100 and wait for it. Oh, it's not going to tell me. I'm gonna have to add this up. 143rd, I think. So you're only like 113 spots off, so you're kind of close. But yeah, you gotta figure it out.
I mean, I feel that you're, like, rooting against me, which I feel like is kind of, putting me down more. I thought we were a team here. We want the viewers to, hit some
This is a
bets. I mean,
cutthroat competition.
I think it's a competition for, to help the viewers, not really. I mean, when Bobby Mack was in second place, I was like, I want him to win, so then not only you bet him top 40 that week, you even had him, he even won, lefty Bobby Mack. But yeah, no, it's a struggle, I was, like, kind of even throughout the week, I think, on my non-outright bets. I did not have Brian Harman to win. Shout out Brian Kushner for that one, BK. But yeah, that was bad. I like DJ throughout the week. I kind of, tweeted about him too. But yeah, no, we'll definitely move on from it. Don't give up on me. Once you give up on me, that's when I'm gonna grind it out. So,
Sure.
I have some stats to back it up. I'm not gonna make my, betting. I've tracked all my bets throughout the year. I'm not gonna say what the numbers are, but they don't lie. So, it's been, good this year. I've made some nice money. Yeah, I mean, if you don't believe me, I'll send you the sheet right now if you want.
No,
But
no.
no, my non-outrights have been, I'm like even on the year non-outrights, and then my outrights I'm up because I've hit a couple people. But yeah, no, I'm happy for you for the program. So I want you to stay hot because, I took Bobby Mack over JT, so I'm not here complaining. You made me a unit, so
Great bet.
proud of you.
Great bet.
Keep it up.
Great bet. Thank you. Thank you.
It'll be an interesting week with 3M because, we have, Finau's a champ. He's trying to defend his title. However, he is not in form. You have JT, who's not in form. You have Hideki, I think he's playing, not in form. You have Cam Young, who is in form, but I feel like he might I don't know if he's going to drop out or not after this week. Sepp Straka also is technically in this field. He might drop out because they're probably definitely in the FedEx Cup playoffs. I'm not sure what they want to do, or if they have sponsorship obligations. I'm not really sure. I hope Cam Young plays so I can take him in my pool, but it's kind of a fatigue week next week with the 3M. It's kind of a birdie fest, so it's kind of complete opposite. We go to TBC
Yeah.
Twin Cities, birdie fest, and then we got Wyndham, and then we have the 3 events to end the year, and then it's like the Ryder Cup. So it's crazy that the major season's over. It's sad,
Yep.
but we're here. We're here to keep grinding. Just to recap, or just to end on a note, what was your favorite part of the week of the major? Like certain moment or something that I guess you're besides Brian Harman winning, what's something that you look back on and that is what I definitely remember from it.
Uh, the Rambo thing was funny, like turning around the hat and the fan just follows him right as he
Yeah.
does it. That was pretty funny. Nothing. Well, memorable. I don't know. Memorable just because it's hilarious. Is Tyrrell Hatton bombing 2 out of bounds just on his third shot on 18, just absolutely just killing it to the left, and just like watching that shot trace was
Yeah.
moderately amusing. So I'll go with those two.
Yeah, well, so my brother and I are Fowler fans, and we follow Ricky Fowler Tracker, and
Mhm.
they didn't show Fowler's 18th hole after round one, where he went OB twice. Not even off the
Yeah,
tee, it was him his approach going
on the
into
second shot. Yeah.
the green. And one app said that he only hit it once out of bounds, so that he may only made bogey. And the other app, I think the British Open app said something different, like his real score.
Mhm.
So Ricky Fowler Tracker goes on Spaces and it's like freaking out, has no idea what's going on, and it's just so funny. Like my brother and I are like texting
Yeah.
like what actually happened, and like they didn't even show it, and then
Uh-huh.
they eventually showed it after when they the producer probably checked his Twitter and was like, hey, like we have to show this. This is dumb.
Mhm.
And the other moment was when Colin Morikawa made that birdie and puts his hands in
Oh
the air,
yeah,
and
and he
then like
almost got
Phil's
hit by.
ball almost
Yeah.
got hit, and like Frankie Borelli was like freaking out, being like, why is not everyone talking about this or
Yeah. No one
anything? So
talks
those are
about it.
yeah, those are kind of the fun moments that kind of get kind of I guess under swept under a rug because they're just kind of more funny moments and stuff. But yeah, no, I mean this is this will be known as the Brian Harman tournament that everyone kind of
Hmm.
disliked with everything. He's a great dude, so I sit back and be like, it wasn't that exciting, but it was good golf. So tip of the cap to Brian Harman, and yeah, that's all. That's all we got. We'll continue to push on content for the 3M and the Ryder Cup and FX playoffs. There's a ton of storylines with both teams and players informed, not informed. So I think it's gonna be a pretty exciting stretch these next couple weeks, and in the remaining days of July and August. Pretty crazy to say. So
Yeah.
um,
I think the last thing that I'll end on is this is the first week that this podcast has gotten national recognition from PMT, from the announcers, with Justin Thomas going bunker to bunker. Very happy to know that we are now that famous enough. But no, that I think we glossed over that too easily. That's the most memorable thing of the week. There we go. That's what we're looking for right there.
yeah, I mean,
So
I'm a big PMT fan, big JT fan. So happy that those
yeah,
two are contributing to the growth of this podcast,
this
and
it. You got it.
I think they're future people to have on the podcast definitely. So that's the goal, and
You got it.
so yeah, we're gonna keep chugging along and get into the 3M and the rest of the year.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a weird week, but again, we post content daily on our social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube as well. So continuously watch, continuously support, and we will see you guys in the next episode.